Almost time for Venus Retrograde 2025. About every 18 months, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, money, goes retrograde. She returns to the same zodiac sign every 8 years. As the brightest planet in the sky follows the sun, she carves out her path in the shape of the 8-pointed star. And you can see that each point represents a Venus retrograde cycle, as everything happens in cycles. Sometimes Venus moves and becomes visible after the sun set, to which she is referred to as Hesperus, an evening star. Sometimes Venus becomes visible right before the sunrise, to which she is referred to as Lucifer, a morning star. And this really depicts the two sides of Venus, the love and hate, the good and the bad side of Venus, of really any planet, how we can move from one to the other within a romantic relationship, within the cycles of love that we all go through. A Venus retrograde cycle is about 40 days. And with a Venus retrograde cycle, we could be yearning, really thinking about people from our past. We can be hearing back from people that we used to date, we used to love, or we can even be reaching out to them, running into them. We can also be running into relationship hiccups, relationship issues come up to the forefront, and you see all the cracks in any kind of relationship. So during a Venus retrograde, you may also meet somebody, start dating them, but then afterwards you may realize they weren't what they seemed. This can also be a time where all relationship issues come to the forefront, and some of us may even decide to part ways with somebody that we are seeing, we are dating. Some of our relationship can be strengthened, but challenges do come up. All kinds of challenges when it comes to love, beauty, and money can come up during a Venus retrograde. Some of us could even meet somebody or reconcile with a partner that we have dated before, we were with before, or we wanted to be with before. So you can see everybody's Venus retrograde plays out a little bit different. I've even seen some relationship last that 8-year Venus cycle. During a Venus retrograde, we may also be thinking about changing our appearance, but be very cautious of expensive purchases and changing your appearance or getting any beauty treatments done, especially if they're not the usual ones you get done, because Venus goes direct and you may not like the result. You may change your mind. You may not be happy with what you see, what you get. So it is really a time to just think and plan these things. It's a time where we can hear of celebrity breakups, shakeups in relationships. We can even see that the people around us are breaking up, getting a divorce. Some people may be falling in love, but change in love is inevitable. A lot of times, any kind of big cracks in a romantic relationship can be shown during a Venus retrograde. Every 8 years, Venus will return to its same position. So as it's pointing out the 8-pointed star, we are always learning a lesson. So you can think of each Venus retrograde as a big lesson. Now, in 2025, March 2nd till April 12th, 13th, Venus is retrograde from 10 degrees of Aries until 24 degrees of Pisces. But if you look back the 8 years, look to 2017, where from March 4th through April 15th, Venus was retrograde from 13 degrees of Aries to 26 degrees of Pisces. And you can look back at that and see if it's relevant to what's happening in your romantic life, your love life right now. Or maybe did you change your looks drastically around that time? Did you start a romantic relationship around then? What were you doing in 2017? Because you were learning a series of lessons during an 8-year cycle, And that can help you think more intuitively about the choices that you have made in love. Watch out for the end of March. March 28th, we're going to have a Venus retrograding at 29 degrees of Pisces, and Neptune is at 29 degrees of Pisces. So we can have a lot of confusion, spiritual, intuitive insight, a new beginning, maybe a releasing and ending for some of us. March 28th, Saturn will also be at 24 degrees of Pisces. It's exactly opposing the March 13th lunar eclipse in Virgo. So it's a big day. And of course, the 13th, we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo. March 29th, we have a solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries. So there's a lot going on in the next 2 months when it comes to relationships, when it comes to money, when it comes to beauty, even consumerism, shopping. All of that is up for a review, for change on a collective level for all of us. On a personal level, it's going to affect you all differently. We can all be having different experiences, but it is a time where we're definitely thinking of past love relationships, the past mistakes we made in love relationships. And we might be craving connection to people. April 9th through April 17th, Venus is opposing the March 13th lunar eclipse degree. Venus is huge right now for the next 2 months. This can also be a time where more things are unfolding, or we're finally getting our aha moment to what we need to do, what we want to do when it comes to love, beauty, money. Now, Mercury will also be going retrograde from March 15th at 9 degrees of Aries until April 7th to 26 degrees of Pisces. So it's following the same path as Venus. Mercury also wants us to go within, reanalyze our relationships, our friendships with people, as well as our communication. How do we communicate with each other? What can we do better? But it is also a time where we should be more cautious of all our communication, as mistakes tend to happen with Mercury retrograde. So back up all your data, review all communications in person and online. Reevaluate your friendships and relationships. And as always with a Mercury retrograde, be very flexible, as plans may change. During this Venus and Mercury retrograde, we have these eclipses, so fated events are also coming up into our lives. Of course, everyone has these eclipses in a different area of your life. March and April can bring up a lot of intense emotions and also a lot of healing. In numerology, this is a year 9. It is a year to let go of any relationships that aren't authentic. It's a year to detach from anything that is not for your highest good. But it is also a year of wish fulfillment. Be clear about what it is that you really want, what you really desire out of love, out of relationships, because this is a year where you might get exactly what you want, and everything is time-stamped down below. You can listen to your rising sign, your sun, your moon sign, to see how this Venus and Mercury retrograde will affect you personally. Aries, March and April are going to be life-changing for a lot of people, especially when it comes to romantic relationships. We have Venus going retrograde March 2nd until April 12th. And then on the 15th of March, we have Mercury going retrograde as well. So there's 2 planets retrograding, and we have 2 eclipses. When Venus goes retrograde, it is a time to go within, re-examine all of your existing relationships, as well as money-making ventures, because Venus rules love, women, beauty, money. And for you, it will be retrograding in your 1st house and in your 12th house. And Venus rules your second house of finances, self-esteem, and your seventh house of romantic relationships. And whenever Venus is retrograde, we could be craving to talk to somebody that we used to date, we used to love, or they could be reaching out to us as well. People from the past can show up. Sometimes it can signal a reconciliation. If you are starting a new relationship, watch out, because by the time Venus goes direct, you may change your mind and see somebody's true colors. But for you, this could affect your finances, your business partnerships, your clients, and of course your relationships. So count on people calling you, or maybe you calling people from the past, people reaching out to you. This could also affect your self-esteem. You are completely rethinking relationships, Aries. March 13th, you have a lunar eclipse in your sixth house of health, debt, organization, work, and there could be maybe bad habits you are needing to let go of, or debt you are paying off. There could also be changes happening with work, in the workplace for some of you. But March 29th, you also have a solar eclipse right in your sign, Aries, and this is signaling a new beginning. For some of you, you want to change up your look or your whole life path, what you're doing. You are starting something new, and it could have to do with relationships. It could also have to do with you, your looks, the way you present yourself to the world. So with that lunar eclipse in your sixth house and the solar eclipse in your sign, Aries, a lot of you are not just changing up your look externally, but really you are changing maybe your diet, what you're eating. Everything like that could be changing alongside your relationships changing as well. So this is a huge 2 months for you. Now, Mercury will be retrograde March 15th until April 7th, also in your first house and then in your 12th house. And it rules over your third and sixth house. And this could have to do with classes, courses, promoting yourself, maybe paying off debt, getting organized, getting fit. A lot of you, Aries, could completely want to change your look, and be very cautious, because I would say in March and early April, I would not be buying anything expensive or changing up your look too much, because when Venus goes direct, you may change your mind or not like the results that you get. When planets are retrograde, it is mostly about going within. You are rethinking your relationships now on a very, very deep level. March 28th, Saturn will be at 24 degrees of Pisces, and it will be exactly opposing the lunar eclipse we're going to have on March 13th in the sign of Virgo. So there could be even secrets coming out from the past, a bill that you need to pay, or maybe things pop up with your health that you are dealing with, you need to deal with. Now, we also have from April 9th through April 17th, Venus will be opposing this eclipse. And this can bring in arguments, or maybe learning a secret about a relationship, a past relationship. Maybe you are finally letting go of relationships that no longer work for you. And this can also be a signal of things going wrong in relationships for some of us. You know, if there is problems to be resolved, they may come up right about now. Good luck, Aries. Taurus, March and April, Venus is going retrograde from March 2nd until April 12th. Now, Venus for you rules your first house of yourself, your life path, your looks, your outer appearance, and your sixth house of debt, work, organization. This is even competition. Sixth house can be the house of competition. It's the house of pets. And Venus is going to retrograde in Aries and Pisces. So your 12th and 11th house. So there could be people coming back from the past, you revisiting past issues, even when finances are concerned. Maybe you are rebudgeting, reanalyzing your finances, getting organized, changing up your look. Although I would advise, if you are buying something expensive or trying to change your look, that you wait until April 12th, because a lot of times when we do it during a Venus retrograde, we change our mind. We don't like the result. it's a time to go within. There could be major changes on account of things that happened in the past. So you could be revisiting your past relationships. People could be contacting you. And for you, this could even be coworkers, friends, groups that you used to belong to. Maybe you are connecting back to them. And this could be through secrets, through things from the past that you learn, or even things on social media or through friends that changes your outlook about love, romance, even finances for a lot of you. So watch everything carefully, because anytime planets are retrograde, it's a time to re-examine relationships. So Venus goes retrograde about every 2 years. And it's a time to go within. It's a time where if you meet somebody new and you start dating, it may seem dreamy at first, but when Venus goes direct, you can see somebody's true colors, true intentions. There could be a lot of ups and downs in relationships coming up here, and this is between two eclipses. Be watchful and watch for the signs that you get around this time. Now, Mercury, from March 15th until April 7th, is also retrograding. It's taking the same path as Venus in your 12th and 11th house. But Mercury rules your second house of finances and your fifth house of children, romantic relationships. So there could be changes in your children's lives, in your relationship with your children. There could be changes in your investments. So watch your investments, as a lot of times when Venus is retrograde, money can be up and down. So can the stock market. So your investments could be a little bit rocky. And this also includes your self-esteem, your possessions, and the money that you make. There could be changes going on there, or maybe you're waiting on something, whether it be a job or some kind of payment, some kind of checks. You're waiting and you don't know exactly what's going on with that, because when Mercury is retrograde, there could be a lot of mistakes. So make sure that you are very, very clear with your communication. Back up all your data. And there could be mistakes that have to be fixed, especially when it comes to money, possessions, your investment. On the 13th, there is a lunar eclipse in your fifth house of children, romance, the stock market. So there could be some letting go, some releasing, or a completion happening in a romantic relationship. This could also have to do with your children, what's going on in their lives, or a creative passion project that you have, a hobby. Maybe you are releasing something and starting a new hobby. Now, on March 29th, there is going to be a solar eclipse in your 12th house. So you can learn some secrets or get some creative downloads to maybe start a new passion project, a new creative venture, or just something that you're learning. A lot of you could become more spiritual as well within the next 2 months. Now, March 28th, Saturn will be exactly opposing the lunar eclipse that we'll be having on the 13th. And this can mean restrictions in what you're trying to accomplish. So there could be a lot of work that you have to put in to a creative project, to a romantic relationship, to really all relationships at this time. April 9th through April 17th, Venus will be opposing the March 13th lunar eclipse. And Venus is you. You are ruled by Venus. It's retrograde. So for you guys can be rethinking everything. Finances, your looks, your outer appearance. And of course, there could be some pushback from other people, maybe even from romantic partners, from children, or this could involve finances, but it is a time to go within. We are in a numerology year 9. There is a lot of relationships that will just have to go. If they are good, they will stand the test of time. But a lot of you could be thinking about what you need to release, let go of around this time, especially relationships that are no longer working. Or you could be really questioning your investments, your creative projects, and of course, your look and your outlook on life. Because whenever planets are retrograde like that, it's a time to really go within and reanalyze our friendships, our romantic relationships. And it's mixed in with the eclipses, so things can be happening out of the blue, out of our control. So this can be a tough 2 months. All right, I'm wishing you all the best, Taurus. Gemini, March and April can be life-changing, a lot of reviewing, reanalyzing. Venus will be going retrograde March 2nd until April 12th. So I would probably not advise to buy any expensive possessions or also book any beauty treatments, as when it goes direct, we may not like the result. We may change our mind as well. For you, Gemini, Venus rules the 12th house of the subconscious mind. It rules the house of endings as well. That's what the 12th house is, spirituality, bed pleasures, and it rules your 5th house of children, creativity, the stock market, any investments that you have, as well as romance. And it will be retrograding in Aries and at the very end of the month and in April in Pisces. So your 11th and 10th house is where you will have Venus retrograding. So there could be people from the past that come back into your life. You could be reminiscing about relationships from the past. You could also learn secrets about relationships, about maybe your children's lives, or maybe there is a relationship that you are starting and it's in secret. You're not telling anybody. It's behind the scenes. Watch out for new relationships, as well as when Venus goes direct. We may see somebody's true colors. They might not look as good as they did to us especially when we meet during a Venus retrograde. This could also be dealing with a creative project that you're putting out into the world, maybe starting a business, something creative that you are working on behind the scenes that you are presenting, and you need to review and reanalyze, change things up for it to be successful. So there could also be issues around children for some of you. But usually when Venus is retrograde, we are really thinking and reanalyzing our relationships of all kinds, especially our romantic relationships. It could bring back people from the past, reconciliation, or it could also bring up troubles in relationships, and relationships could end. You could learn the truth about somebody. Mercury, your ruler, is also retrograding March 15th until April 7th, taking the same path as Venus, starting in your 11th house and finishing up in your 10th house. Mercury rules your home life, your home and family, and it rules over you. So there could be changes within the home, changes to your appearance, or maybe you're wanting to make these changes. Home life changes, appearance changes, and this could have to do with friendships as well that are changing. There's something not understood, and it even work, the way that you present yourself to the world, what you are presenting to the world. And of course, with every Mercury retrograde, it's a time to review, reanalyze our relationships and back up all your data. Really be careful with any and all communication. March 13th, we have a lunar eclipse in your 4th house of home and family. This could signal a time where there's a releasing happening. So it could even be a big move for some of you, maybe letting go of where you live. You're trying to move. There could be issues going on within the family for you. Now, March 29th, you have a solar eclipse in your 11th house of groups, friendships, and this could signal a time where you are meeting new friends. You're getting introduced to new groups of people. March 28th, Saturn at 24 degrees of Pisces will oppose that lunar eclipse that we're having on March 13th. So there could be restrictions coming from superiors, authorities, or work when it comes to home and family. There could be something you have to work through, and it could just be more difficult around this time. April 9th through April 17th, Venus, which is retrograding in March and April, will be opposing that degree that we're having the lunar eclipse on the 13th. So, of course, this could bring up more issues within relationships, issues that you have to work out. And it could be that you are changing a home where you live because of a relationship, because something not working out, or maybe you are redecorating, letting go of a vehicle, or there is developments happening in the lives of your parents, things going on at work. So this can be a challenging 2 months for a lot of us, because when planets are retrograde, we are analyzing things. This is in between two eclipses. So things are happening out of the blue, especially if you have any planets close to 24 degrees of Virgo or Pisces. You can really feel this eclipse. And it's an important area of your life, your home life, your home, your parents, and your the opposite of that, your career and public image. So things in these two areas could just be happening out of the blue. Feels like they're happening to you. And this is also a time where people from the past could show up. Relationships of all kinds are up for review. So there is a lot going on. So pay attention to how you're feeling, any synchronicities, any signs that you are receiving. These 2 months can signal huge changes for a lot of us. I'm wishing you all the best, Gemini. Cancer, March and April is a time of reevaluating our relationships, re-examining what it is that we want and need in love, in relationships. And it is a busy time for things unfolding in our lives that maybe we didn't want, we did want. A lot of changes could be happening. Venus is retrograde March 2nd until April 12th. Mercury will also be retrograde, and we have 2 eclipses. So it is really a time to look within and reevaluate. We are in a numerology year 9. This means we are detaching from relationships of all kinds that are no longer working for us. We can really see somebody's true colors. Be really cautious if you are buying expensive things or getting any beauty treatments, because you might change your mind. You also might not like the result of any kind of beauty treatments, any big purchases. So be mindful of that in March and the first 2 weeks of April. Now for you, Venus rules the 4th house of home and family and the 11th house of groups, friendships, and organizations, the love that you receive. And Venus will go retrograde in your 10th house of career and public image. And you could be changing your whole image to the outside world, or you're wanting to, or you feel like your friendship circle is changing, your followers are changing, who you are following on social media is changing. There could also be issues within the home. Maybe something that you are working on at home not working out the way that you planned, and you need to reevaluate that. Venus will also go into Pisces, your 9th house. So there could be something that you are working on for work. Maybe you are publishing something, you are thinking about travel, and you need to rework things, reanalyze exactly what it is that you're doing, especially when it comes to your looks, your career. Your friendships could be being analyzed, reanalyzed right now, but Venus retrograde can bring back past lovers, past romance, maybe reconciliation. Be careful if you start a new romantic relationship around Venus retrograde, as when it goes direct, you may completely change your mind about this relationship. You could also learn people's true colors, true intentions. You might not like what you see. Venus retrograde can cause a lot of relationship shakeup where sometimes we are letting go of somebody. Sometimes we are meeting somebody. There could be relationship issues that come up for review. That is what Venus retrograde signals. Mercury will also be retrograde March 15th to April 7th, taking the same path as Venus. It'll start retrograding in your 10th house of career and public image, and end up retrograding into your 9th house. And Mercury rules your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of losses, what's hidden behind the scenes, and your 3rd house of communication, skills, self-efforts. So you could be working on your career behind the scenes, something you are publishing, or maybe working on a new job, trying to get a new job, working on immigration papers, passports, travel, things like that. Be careful if you are traveling around this time, as unexpected things can pop up. We also have eclipses. March 13th at 24 degrees of Virgo, there is a lunar eclipse. If you do have planets close to 24 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, you can feel this even more. And there could be a letting go of a skill set you no longer utilize, you don't want to do anymore, you want to try something else, some self-promotion, people in your neighborhood. There could be new developments in the lives of your siblings at this time. March 29th, we have a solar eclipse in Aries, and this is signaling a new beginning in your career, whether it is a new job, a new business, a new side hustle, a new self-expression you're going to present to the world. March 28th, Saturn will be exactly opposite of the lunar eclipse we have March 13th, and this can signal a time where there's blockages happening. And this is in the area of your 3rd and 9th house. There could be blockages with siblings, with something that you are promoting, with publishing, with travel, with a legal case. April 9th through April 17th, Venus will then oppose the degree of the March 13th lunar eclipse. Venus was retrograde, and this is a time where you can finally see results when it comes to your career, publishing. If you're working on a course, taking a course, a legal matter, or traveling, paperwork for passports. This is also a time where relationship disappointments could be made clear. Either you are disappointed or you are feeling really good about a relationship for some of you. And this is a time really to think about what you need and want from a relationship. We are all getting tested this year. Not only is it year 9 in numerology, but it is a 9 of hearts year. This means that a love that is not authentic needs to go. We need to detach ourselves from people, things, and places that are not for our highest good. And these 2 months will expose everything good and everything bad to us, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, Cancer. So a lot of you can be really reminiscing about certain relationships you had in the past, hearing back from people from the past, as well as trying to build new connections. So there's so much going on in March and April. It's really wise to pay attention. And because you have all this presence in your 9th house, there could be even videos, books, teachers you come across that open you up to viewing relationships and love in a whole new light. So keep an open mind and pay attention to any signs and synchronicities that you are being given, you're seeing, anything that you are feeling, and I wish you all the best, Cancer. Leo, March and April, there is so much going on. We have Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and 2 eclipses. It's a time to go within and reanalyze all your relationships and even the relationship you have with money. Venus signifies love, beauty, and money. So we could also be rethinking what we find beautiful, our clothes, our aesthetic. Be careful not to make any big purchases or get any big beauty treatments, because when Venus goes direct, you may not like what you see. You may not like the result. It may not come out exactly how you want it to come out. Same with big purchases. Now, Venus for you rules the 3rd house of self-effort, skills, your neighborhood, your siblings, and your 10th house of career and public image. Venus will go retrograde in your 9th house of higher education, travel, spirituality. And this is signaling a time that maybe you are working on a work project that you want to publish, you want to teach, you want to take a course, and there is things you need to redo and reanalyze on account of this. Maybe things aren't looking exactly how you want them to. There could also be transformation in the lives of your siblings, in the course that you're taking, in your neighborhood, transformations at work, because Venus will also retrograde in your 8th house of transformation, sudden happening, scandal. Now, Venus retrograde is a time where we could be reminiscing about past love, past relationships. You could be in contact with people that you were in relationships with from the past. You could also be in contact with people that you grew up with from the neighborhood, people from work, people that you used to work with, maybe even old bosses that you worked for. But Venus retrograde is really a time to go within and reanalyze our relationships. Also, if you start dating somebody new, they could look completely different to you when Venus finally goes direct. It can bring up a lot of relationship issues as well. Relationships that are no longer working could actually end during a Venus retrograde, or just issues that you need to deal with in your relationship could come up for review, and it could really make you think a lot about what you want from a love relationship. This is a year 9 in numerology. So you will see a lot of us are just going to be letting go of things and people that are not authentic. They're not working for us. We are going to crave more authenticity, even in our personal relationships. Mercury will go retrograde March 15th until April 7th. It's taking the same path as Venus. It's going to start its retrograde motion in Aries in your 9th house and then go into your 8th house. And Mercury rules your 2nd house of finances, possessions, your self-worth and self-esteem, and your 11th house of groups, friendships, organizations that you belong to. You could be traveling with a friend, making plans to take a course with somebody, or maybe even get your passports, learn something. There could also be transformation in your friendship circle, your money and your possessions, Leo. So be careful of any and all communications with friends, with colleagues at this time. Back up all your data. But this is also a time where we are reanalyzing our friendships. And actually, people that you used to be friends with can contact you now. You can be in contact with people from the past. March 13th, there is a lunar eclipse at 24 degrees of Virgo. If you have personal planets close to 24 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, you can feel this more. There is a releasing, a letting go in your 2nd house. It could be possession. It can be a source of income for some of you. Or maybe there's something going on with your teeth. Some dental care could be happening right now. Your self-worth, your self-esteem, what you feel like you deserve. March 29th, we have a solar eclipse in your 9th house. So there's a new beginning as well happening in the house of spirituality, publishing, travel, finding spiritual teachers. So all these things could be popping up out of the blue, but also on March 28th, Saturn will be opposing that March 13th lunar eclipse degree, and this is signaling a time where there could be blockages with money, with shared resources for a lot of you. April 9th through April 17th, Venus will oppose the March 13th lunar eclipse degree. And Venus was retrograde, and this really is signaling a time of transformation in your money, your possessions, as well as your personal relationships, how you feel about yourself, your self-worth, your self-esteem. You could also be finding things out about people that you were dealing with from the past, or you're dealing with now when it concerns romantic relationships. So be careful and pay attention to any signs, synchronicities you are seeing, because whenever Venus is retrograde, we can learn that certain relationships are not good for us. Then we could also have reconciliation. We can be really wanting to talk to people from the past, meet up with people from the past. And these two eclipses are throwing things at us that may be unexpected. March and April is a really busy time to go within and reanalyze our relationship. But it's also a time where things can happen out of the blue. I'm wishing you all the luck, Leo. Virgo, March and April will be a huge change for a lot of people, especially when it comes to love and romance. Now, from March 2nd till April 12th, we have Venus retrograde. We also have two eclipses. And March 15th until April 7th, we have Mercury going retrograde, taking the same path as Venus. In numerology, 2025 is a year 9. It is a year where a lot of us can get our big wishes fulfilled. But it is also a year where we need to detach from what is no longer working. So a lot of relationships will be faced with that. We will no longer accept anything that's not authentic. So you need to reevaluate your friendships, your career, everything that you are doing, because these retrogrades are all tying in together. The reason authenticity is the highest frequency is because when you are authentic, you attract the people that match that energy, and relationships are formed in an authentic way. And this year, we will be letting go of people who are not authentic with us. With Neptune going through your 7th house, Virgo, you have seen your share of deception. Whether it was from you were just lying to yourself about somebody, or somebody else was totally presenting themselves in a different way than they truly are. Now, when Venus is retrograde, we are going within and analyzing our personal relationships of all kinds. Venus is also about beauty, aesthetics, and money, and we are reevaluating all of this. I would not suggest getting any beauty treatments or spending a lot of money on things during a Venus retrograde, because when it goes direct, you may change your mind. If new relationships come into your life and they start out great, when Venus goes direct, you may see things in a whole new way. So if somebody is deceiving you, you may find out. You may find out secrets now. Any cracks in existing relationships will be shown to you when Venus is retrograde. And this is an important one because it's between two eclipses. And the eclipses happening this year are dealing for you with you, yourself, your life path, and your relationships. So for you and for Pisces, this is huge. This is a really big deal. And Venus goes in 8-year cycles. You can look back to 2017 and look at what happened. Sometimes relationships form on or around Venus retrograde, and they last the whole 8-year cycle. And every 2 years, when it goes retrograde, it shows you the cracks. You may hear back from people from the past. You may want to contact them. They may be reaching out. Even reconciliation is possible, or meeting with somebody that you have a past connection with. Now, on another note, Venus rules your 2nd house of finances, possessions, your self-worth, your self-esteem, your teeth. And Venus also rules the 9th house of spirituality, travel, higher education. So these two areas are first going into your 8th house of transformation. And then around March 28th, all the way until April 12th, they are going into your 7th house of romantic relationships, business partnerships, clients, other people. So there is a lot going on. So during the first half of Venus retrograde, March 1st through March 28th, you can transform your self-esteem, your self-worth, make more money. There could be some secrets for some of you, even scandals that come out. Or maybe you or a romantic partner, confess some secrets. There could be more intimacy going on. There could be things hidden beneath the surface when it comes to romance and money. But a lot of you could start making more money, investing money, partnering up with somebody to make more money, whether it is for a love relationship or a business partnership. This could also be a time where you are studying occult knowledge. You are transforming through study, spirituality. Maybe there's something that you read that transforms your belief systems about love and romance. After March 28th, some Virgos can even experience signing contracts, renegotiating contracts for publishing, schooling, any kind of course you are taking, teaching, even court judgments. Some of you, maybe relationship issues are popping up at this time. And this could also be maybe you traveling, moving with a partner. This could also be a lot of business negotiations. And this is especially true after March 28th. So a lot is going on. And it is right after March 28th that a lot of you could see exes coming back into your life, trying to reach out to you. Maybe you are reaching out to them as well. March 15th, all the way until April 7th, we also have Mercury going retrograde, and it's following the same Venus path. But for you, Mercury rules your first house, you yourself, and your 10th house of career and public image. So your career or career ambitions could be in for a transformation. Or maybe there is some research that you are doing. You're trying to start something new. It could even be that some of you are trying to start a spiritual business with Mercury going through the 8th and 7th house. But it could also be that you are reevaluating your career ambitions, what you want from your career and public image. You can also be reevaluating your looks, your wardrobe, all of this. And while Mercury retrograde is a time of introspection, going within and reevaluating everything, it is wise to double check all communications, back up all your data. And of course, this can also lead to being in contact with people from the past, people that you used to work with even. And of course, communicating with people that you used to date, you used to be friends with. Now, some dates to watch for is on March 28th. Saturn will be at 24 degrees of Pisces, and it's exactly opposing the degree of the March 13th eclipse we're having at 24 degrees of Virgo. And those of you who have planets at 24 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, or your Virgo rising 23, 24, 25 degrees, you can feel this intensely on or around this day, whether it is thinking about people from the past, them contacting you to resolve issues, or something that isn't working, breaking apart, or you finally letting go, releasing what no longer serves you, especially when it comes to business associates, business partners, and romantic relationships. And April 9th through April 17th, Venus will be opposing the degree of the March 13th eclipse, again highlighting romantic relationships or even relationships from the past. So March and April could be very enlightening, a lot of aha moments, a lot of realizations for a lot of us about romance, romantic relationships, what we want, what we do not want. You know, for a lot of you, it could be finally realizing exactly what you want, meeting somebody new. For a lot of you, it could be a letting go. And for some of us, it could just be that we are now taking relationships more seriously. We want something else. Or maybe we are thinking this way about business and business contacts, clients of ours, because not everyone will be dealing with relationship issues, but a lot of healing can come out of this. So it can be a whirlwind. March and April can be a whirlwind, especially where relationships are concerned, or just our thoughts on relationships will change. All right, I wish you all the luck, Virgo. Libra, March and April is going to be a time of big aha moments, rethinking love, relationships, and with Venus going retrograde from March 2nd until April 12th. And Venus rules your sign, so you could be rethinking your whole life path, all your romantic relationships, and even your job, what you do for a living, some of you. Because we've got the first house, you yourself, going into the 7th house. Then after March 28th, that's going into the 6th house. And of course, your 8th house, your house of transformation, intimacy, the money that you share with others is also headed to your 7th house and then your 6th house. So a lot is going on. 2025 is a year 9. And it is a year where we can get our great wishes fulfilled, but it is also a year of endings, completions, and detachment. And for you, Libra, there could be a lot of letting go when it comes to relationships, friendships, business partners, some of you even the workplace. Now, what can transpire is you could be longing to reconnect with someone from the past, or they could be trying to reconnect with you, sometimes just to smooth things over. And sometimes there could be reconciliation. Now, during a Venus retrograde, I would advise not to get any beauty treatments or buy any expensive possessions, because when Venus goes direct, you can change your mind. And even new relationships that are started under a Venus retrograde, when it goes direct, we can feel different about someone. Or sometimes we can have big blowouts, breakups with people in our lives, and then we don't know, is it over? Is it not over? And then Venus goes direct, and if they're not there still, it's probably over. A lot of times we can even form relationships on or around Venus retrograde, and they could last the whole 8-year cycle. It goes in a big cycle. So look back to 2017. What were you doing? What were you thinking? What were you pondering? There is a lot going on here. And for you guys, it could even be not just that people from the past come back into your life, but maybe you are rethinking work. You could be meeting someone at work, or someone could be just contacting you, missing you. And this one is huge because it's between two eclipses. And one of the eclipses is happening in the sign of Aries on March 29th. So it is your relationship house. So a lot of fated events. Also, Mercury is following the same path as Venus. Mercury will retrograde March 15th at 9 degrees of Aries, so your 7th house, until April 7th to 26 degrees of Pisces to your 6th house. And there could be, of course, more talks with people from the past. When Mercury stations retrograde, it will be on the exact same degree that on March 29th there is a solar eclipse. For you, this is your 7th house, and a lot of Libras could have a new beginning in love, something beginning, or even a new business partnerships, new clients. But there's a new beginning happening for you on or around this time. And this is especially true if your ascendant is maybe anywhere from 7 to 12 degrees of Libra, sun or moon, or you have important planets from 7 to 12 degrees of Aries. And now this Mercury retrograde can bring in confusion in this new beginning, or maybe not knowing which way to go. Now, this Mercury retrograde can also bring in secrets coming to light, past secrets, past relationship secrets. It could be that you are starting something behind the scenes and maybe people are talking about it, people find out. There could be competitors at work. You could be dealing with health issues, even some of you, or letting go of negative habits. This can also be a time where those of you who are involved in a legal matter, that there is some confusion going on here. Other days to watch for is March 28th. Saturn will be exactly 24 degrees of Pisces, and this will be exactly opposing the degree of the March 13th lunar eclipse at 24 degrees of Virgo. So this can bring up secrets, competition, maybe even fighting with somebody. It can also bring up health issues, or maybe you are dramatically trying to shift over your health routine. So this can be very prominent. And with that Saturn there, it could just be that there's restrictions. It could be financial restrictions in what you want to do in terms of work for you, Libra. Also watch April 9th through April 17th. Venus will be opposing the degree of the March 13th lunar eclipse in Virgo, and this can bring up issues with romance, issues with money, maybe trying to change your look, but it can also be bringing back people from the past, even competitors or a work situation. But a lot of you could be trying to completely overhaul your day-to-day life, healthier lifestyle, different eating habits, things like that. And a lot of things could be changing, especially at work, and your thinking process, your thought process. Good luck, Libra. Scorpio, March and April can be a little bit crazy, especially when it comes to love. March 2nd until April 12th, Venus will be retrograde. And Venus rules over your 12th house of your subconscious mind, things hidden behind the scene, and your 7th house of romantic partnerships, business partnerships, other people. It will be retrograding in your 6th house and in your 5th house. So this tells me that there could be issues that come back from the past to be dealt with. And really, any Venus retrograde, you can be thinking about your past relationships, or they could be reaching out to you. You could be reaching out to them. You could even rekindle an old love, or there could be issues in existing relationships. Now, for you, Scorpio, there could be secrets revealed, people from the past showing up, maybe even conflict that needs to be resolved with people from the past. For some of you, over children, over a creative project, some finances for some of you. This could even be business contracts for some of you, because the 7th house isn't just romantic relationships. It's also your business partners, your clients. Whenever Venus goes retrograde, it is wise not to make any huge purchases or get any big beauty treatments, as sometimes when it goes direct, you may completely change your mind. You may not like the result. So if you want to do any of that, do it before or after. Now, this Venus retrograde is there right in between two eclipses. So a lot of big changes in love can be happening really for everybody. But for you especially, this can be even meeting somebody new, maybe starting a family with somebody, rekindling a past relationship, or just dealing with the past relationship issues that you have, holding you back from getting into a new romantic relationship. So for you guys especially, this could be even meeting somebody new. If you are meeting somebody new under this transit, just be more cautious, because a lot of times when Venus goes direct, you can see somebody's true colors. Now, for some of you, there could be issues with children, creative projects, or maybe even issues around custody, as your 12th and 7th house goes into the 6th and 5th. This is really just a time of caution, a time to go within. Mercury will also be retrograde March 15th to April 7th, and it's following the same path as Venus. It's retrograde in Aries and then Pisces. For you, Mercury rules your 11th house of groups, friends, your hopes and dreams, and also your 9th house of spirituality, higher education. Mercury will be going into your 6th house and your 5th house. And this can cause issues in friendship, issues with education, publishing, travel, passports, visa, immigration, anything like that. And this could be even for you or your children. But you can also be really rethinking a lot of your friendships, Scorpio. You can really see people's true colors. Anytime planets are retrograde, it is a time to rethink, review, go within, back up all your data, and of course be really clear with all your communication. March 28th, Saturn will be at 24 degrees of Pisces, exactly opposing the degree of the March 13th eclipse, and it will also make contact with a Neptune. And this is huge, as there could be block with existing relationships, blocks maybe in romance, maybe having children, but there could also be blocks with friendships, any groups that you belong to. There could be issues that come up, or maybe some truths are revealed. April 9th through April 17th, Venus will be opposing the degree of the March 13th lunar eclipse. So for you guys, romance, creativity, and friendships are changing. And this is also going to involve romantic relationships, business partners for a lot of you. So there's a lot of changes. This is year 9 in numerology. It is a year to let go of any relationships that are no longer working for you, Scorpio. So things will be presented to you. People will be revealed for who they are. And if relationships are good and strong, they will just become stronger. But there could be a lot of tough lessons in March and April when it comes to beauty, relationships, money, and really how we all do relationships. You will also have a lunar eclipse in your 11th house, signaling a change in friendships or groups you belong to. And you will have a solar eclipse in your 6th house. So there could be a new diet program that you are starting as well within these 2 months, or you're wanting to make a change when it comes to finances, organization, your health, your job. So these are huge months for a lot of us. Good luck, Scorpio. Sagittarius, from March 2nd until April 12th, Venus will be retrograding. So all of us all around the world can be seen reminiscing about the past. We are reanalyzing our romantic relationship. What was said? What did they say? What did I say? And a lot of us could be even missing each other, reaching out to people from the past, or hearing from people that we used to date, we used to know. Venus is about love, but it is also about money. So big changes with the stock market, big financial changes, shakeups with finances can be happening around the world as well. But personally, you can really feel it within your romantic relationships. I also wouldn't suggest making huge, expensive purchases or really getting any big beauty treatments, because as Venus goes direct, you may really change your mind and not like the result. As well as even beginning new romantic relationships, be careful, because a lot of times Venus goes direct and we finally see somebody's true intentions. We see their true colors. But even look back at 2017, because a Venus has 8-year cycles. So and then every 2 years, it's a retrograde every 2.5 years. So 2019, 2021, what were you going through? Some relationships, a lot of them last the duration of the Venus retrograde. We can maybe even get back together with somebody, and then 8 years later, that's where all the problems show up and it falls apart yet again, because if it's not built on a solid foundation, Venus retrograde lets you see the cracks in all romantic relationships. And you can see all around the world, this year is going to be the year of shakeups within relationships, a lot of breakups in Hollywood, people that you know, because Venus retrograde is showing you exactly what is wrong with the relationship. But it can even lead to reconciling with somebody we used to date, taking a relationship to the next level for some of us. So this is the year to let go of anything that isn't authentic and just keep the people in your life that love you for who you are. So what's going on for you in the beginning of March is your 11th house is going into your fifth house. Your sixth house is going into your fifth house, and there might be bills on account of children, or you could be worried about your children. This can also be turning a friendship romantic, or there could be some problem with a creative project that you are working on and you're worried about how it's going to be received by other people. There could also be changes in how and when you invest your money. After March 28th, your 11th house is going to go into your 4th house. So there could be something that you are working on within a friendship group, friendship circle, or maybe you're working on a business, or you could be even buying a house, buying a car. As with the 6th house going into the 4th, there could even be issues that arise that need to be dealt with. For on a mundane level, this could be you are completely organizing your home. Maybe you're having a group of friends over. But there could be issues within friendship, with finances, maybe even health, organization, and work, because that is what Venus rules for you. Mercury will also be going retrograde from March 15th until April 7th, and it's following Venus's path. And Mercury for you rules your 10th house of career and public image, and your 7th house of business partners, clients, your opponents, and your love relationships, your romantic relationships. And this could be a time where you and your partner are discussing maybe buying a home together, moving in together, having children together, for those of you who are in that stage of life. Or it could be issues that come up within an existing relationship. And this could even be you reminiscing about old partners or people from the past contacting you. Maybe they want to reconcile or just talk things over. There could be communication with old bosses, clients, and especially old lovers. And this is also a time where you could be reconfiguring your career life or trying to change something in your career, start a new project maybe. Regardless of what it is, March and April is a time to really go within, pay attention to everything and anything anybody says, because you could be tying up loose ends from the past, or maybe just bringing people back into your life that used to be a part of your life. Now, you guys also have Jupiter in your 7th house, and this is highlighting for a lot of you marriage, getting into a serious relationship, or having a lot of opportunities to build your business in a more successful way, attract more clients. But in March and April could be a time where not just one or two, but many people from the past arrive or try to communicate with you, or you have a lot more opportunity for love, for romance. March 28th, Saturn will be at 24 degrees of Pisces, and it will be exactly opposing the degree of the March 13th eclipse, which is at 24 degrees of Virgo. And there could be things happening in your home life and in your career life right now, Sagittarius. So watch your parents' health. It could be buying a car, a big move for you. And with Saturn involved, there could be some restriction. A lot of things to do to get to that goal, whether it is a goal with your home, your car, or your career. April 9th through April 17th, Venus will be opposing the degree of the March 13th eclipse, again highlighting work, home. So your relationships with the people that you live with, your home life, where you live, how you live, you could be wanting to redecorate, reorganize, or it could be that your career is clashing with your home life. Maybe you are wanting to move, some of you, change your career. But there is so many shifts and changes headed for us in March and April. We have 2 eclipses, and we have Mercury and Venus retrograding, calling for us to go within and rework a lot of the things that we are working on, and maybe deal with things or people from the past. Good luck, Sagittarius. Capricorn, we are going into this Venus retrograde from March 1st through April 12th. And for you, it will be happening in your 4th and 3rd house. But really, Venus retrograde is about going within and rethinking our relationships, reanalyzing our connections, whatever they may be. You know, for some of us, it may even be close friendships. It could even be past relationships that we are reminiscing about. We're really thinking about a person from our past. We're wondering what they're doing. They may contact us. We may contact them. And sometimes it can be reconciliation. Or sometimes we can meet the person for closure, or we can meet them, we can see them, run into them and realize, what was I even thinking? You know, we could have a lot of realizations about the past, what people said, what you said, all about love and relationships. But Venus retrograde is also about money. It's also about your values, your looks. And for you, since it's happening in your 4th and 3rd house, it could also be about family connections, about where you live, redecorating your place, maybe even moving for some of you. Or there's something going on at home that needs a second look. Or you're going within, you're really thinking about it. And it's going into the 3rd house too, which tells me maybe there's a class you are taking, you are going to be learning something, or there's something that you are starting. And since it's going into the 3rd house, there is something that you could be learning, teaching, or promoting. So you need a lot of effort. Now, for you, Venus rules your 10th house of career and public image. And it rules your 5th house of love and romance, and it's going into the 4th and the 3rd. And this could be you meeting up with people from your childhood, you know, people that you used to hang out with, you used to date, or even moving in with somebody, maybe. For some of you, taking a relationship to the next level, or meeting in town, going out on a few dates. It could also be that you are taking your career into your own hands. You're self-promoting, you're starting something within your home, and you need to reanalyze certain aspects of how you're going to go about this. If this is what you are doing, just this what you want to do. So you can analyze things like that, because Venus does deal with money. But we could be craving connection at this time. Watch out if you are getting any beauty treatments or buying anything substantial, as when Venus goes direct, we can change our mind. And this can even be for new relationships that are started. They may seem perfect during a Venus retrograde, and Venus goes direct, and we can really see the flaws. We also have Mercury retrograde from March 15th all the way till April 7th, and it's following the same path as Venus is. And for you, Mercury rules the 6th house of work, health, organization, daily habits, and the 9th house of spirituality, higher education, travel. So you could actually be perfecting a skill, learning something, thinking about moving, traveling, reorganizing your possessions, your home. You could be trying to publish your work, teach a skill. Could also be in communication with people that you used to learn from, people you used to teach, or people from your childhood, from your hometown could be reaching out to you. Now, there's so much going on in March and April. I just wanted to give you a heads up because we could start feeling the energy come through right now. There's going to be a lot of decisions to be made for some of us because we have 2 eclipses, one in Virgo, one in Aries. Mercury, Venus retrograde, which brings back people from the past as well. March 28th, Saturn at 24 degrees of Pisces will be exactly opposite of the degree of the March 13th eclipse at 24 degrees of Virgo. So there's a lot of fated events going on around March and April. You finishing school, moving, traveling, self-promoting yourself. There could be issues that come up with siblings for some of you, or maybe there's something going on in the lives of your siblings. Now, there could also be some deception involved. So watch out for anything. Really work with your intuition, because a lot of things will be unfolding right in front of you, especially things that deal with teachers teaching, maybe collaborating with other people, as well as a travel, school. April 9th through April 17th, Venus is going to be opposing the degree of the eclipse, which could also bring in fated events, especially dealing with love, past love situations. It could be for some of you that you could even meet somebody in your neighborhood that you used to date, or you travel to see somebody. Now remember, with Venus retrograde, it doesn't have to all be bad. We could just be doing the work. In numerology, this is year 9. And year 9 does promise you will get a wish fulfilled, especially if you let go what is no longer serving you, because that is what 9 is about. It's about letting go. And you're going to see on social media, even with celebrities, a lot of people are just letting go of outdated relationships. You will no longer this year be able to continue anything that isn't authentic and not working. Authenticity is really, it's the highest frequency. And when we are authentic, we attract authentic people to us. And a lot of us within our love relationships aren't as authentic as we can be. So it's really important that this year you're just like, nope, I'm not going to take any more of this. And you're just yourself, because you want to attract those kind of people to you. And Venus retrograde will help a lot of you realize where in relationships you're not being authentic, but it could bring a lot of fun. It could bring a lot of drama as well. So good luck, Capricorn. Aquarius, Venus retrograde can bring a longing for people that we had relationships with from the past. Now, this can also be where you communicate with people you dated in the past. They contact you, even email you, you bump into them, or we're just going over internally what relationship patterns we have made throughout our lives. What was said by the other person, what you said, what was done. And we can feel like we miss somebody from the past. They could feel like they miss us. We could start a new romantic relationship. Of course, a lot of times by the time Venus goes direct, we can feel like this person isn't right for us. And the same thing goes for beauty treatments or luxury purchases. So I would advise against doing anything like that unless it's your regular routine, because you may not like the result. Now, on a mundane level, Venus rules your 9th house of higher education, publishing, spirituality, travel, and Venus rules your 4th house of home, family, mother. This is also vehicles, and it's going to retrograde in your 3rd and 2nd house. So it could be that you are working on a work project at home, or there could be issues maybe with siblings and neighbors, neighborhood, and something needs to be worked out, especially if it's a business you have, or maybe a family business, something you are doing together with a family member, with a sibling. This can also mean that you are trying to publish your work, teach something, learn something. And there are things that need to be redone, revised in this area, as well as making travel plans. Maybe even some of you making plans to move abroad, buy real estate abroad, because it's going into your 2nd house. So you are trying to, some of you, make money from either self-promotion online, promoting a course, making a course, taking a course. Your self-esteem could really be affected during this Venus retrograde, because the 2nd house is also our possessions and it's our family. So there could be disruptions with possessions, money flow, family ties, family relationships, as the 4th house is going into the 3rd and then the 2nd. So this isn't just about love relationships. Of course, this is what it's mostly about, but you can feel it on a mundane level with these things as well. So there could be some ups and downs with finances, with publishing, trying to promote yourself. Mercury will also be retrograde March 15th until April 7th. Mercury rules over your 8th house of transformation, taxes, the money that you share with other people. And it also rules over your 5th house of children, creative projects, and also the stock market. If you put money into the stock market, it is also ruled by the 5th house. And Mercury retrograde will be in your 3rd and then later 2nd house. So there could be a lot of changes within finances for some of you. Maybe some of you are working contracts out with a partner, a romantic partner, a business partner, but there could also be a huge transformation with your money. And of course, Mercury rules your 5th house, so old romantic partners could come back into your life. There could also be issues with children, around children that come up that need to be revised. And it could just be about paying something on account of children, or maybe there's some confusion with a love interest. You don't know which way to go, but a lot of you could be reminiscing about partners you've had in the past, and they could be reminiscing about you. For you, Aquarius, this definitely signals somebody from the past. Either it's on your mind. This can also signal that they reach out to you through online communication, something like that, since Mercury will be retrograding in your 3rd house. Or maybe you are completely changing the self-effort that you put into a creative project. Maybe you're bored with something and you want to try something new, go about it in a different way, because 5th house is our creativity as well. Now, March 28th, Saturn will be at 24 degrees of Pisces, which is exactly opposite the degree of the March 13th lunar eclipse at 24 degrees of Virgo. Again, this will highlight your possessions. It will highlight the money that you make and the money that you are joining together with a partner, whether it's a business partner or maybe even an inheritance, insurance forms, anything like that. And with Saturn there could be blockages for some of you, restrictions around money, around joint finances, especially on or around March 28th. Now, April 9th through April 17th, Venus is opposing the degree of the March 13th eclipse. And this is huge because eclipses bring fated events. And of course, we've got Saturn there. We've got Neptune there. So this is a really big deal. So watch out, because you could be presented with a lot of truths about people that you are in relationships with, maybe even your spouse. Some of you who are married, there could be a lot going on when it comes to financial matters for you. Or it could just be that secrets are revealed, because this is the 8th house is secrets. It is also healing and intimacy, but it's also the house of scandals. So watch out that you don't get yourself into any romantic entanglements that cause scandals. Or maybe even you find out secrets about your past relationships. They could come to light. All right, I wish you all the best during this Venus retrograde, Aquarius. Pisces, this Venus retrograde is happening for you in your 2nd and 1st house. So from March 1st through April 12th, you can feel this really in your financial sector, your possessions, your self-esteem. Now, Venus retrograde is probably not a good time for buying luxury possessions or changing your hairstyle, because when it goes direct, we may change our mind. We may regret it. An internal time. It's time to go within and figure out what it is that you need to feel more self-assured, content with yourself, with your finances, as well as your image to the world. Now, Venus rules your 8th house, and it rules your third house. And these things are going into your second and your first house. So it tells me that maybe there's a project that you're working on, social media, building yourself up, or maybe learning a new skill so that you can make money. And there is something that you need to redo in that area. Finances, especially those connected with other people, with spouses and partner, could be going through a change. And this could be due to you getting together with someone, or even a breakup or divorce for some of you, a separation, or some finances that are joined together, maybe through custody arrangements, so child support, alimony, taxes, and investments could be also a big theme for you. But what it is it's transformation, not just of money, but of the way you feel about yourself, your self-worth, your self-esteem. What are you willing to put up with? What are you not willing to put up with anymore? And of course, your image. You could really be thinking about changing your style, your hairstyle, your clothes, your perfume, everything like that. This is a huge year for you because we have the eclipses on your axis, on the Pisces and Virgo axis. So your relationships will really shift. You could be yearning for people from the past. They could be yearning for you. They could be reaching out to you. You could be reaching out to them. Sometimes just to resolve issues from the past, or maybe sometimes to reconcile with people from the past. And this could be huge for you guys because when we have the South Node in the 7th house, we can meet somebody we have a past life connection with, or people from the past could come back and maybe this time it works out. So we're really thinking about relationships during this time. We're going over what transpired, what could transpire, and we might have a lot of yearning for people that we used to love, we used to be in relationships with. Mercury will go retrograde March 15th until April 7th. And for you, Mercury rules your 4th house of home, family, the house of vehicles, as well as your 7th house of relationship, business partners, really all your relationships with other people. It will take the same path of Venus, starting its retrograde in your 2nd house of self-esteem, finances, and possessions, and going into your 1st house of self, your identity, your path in life. So issues with your partner, or maybe even an ex for some of you. For those of you who are going through a breakup or a separation, this could be about how to divvy up the assets, home, car, bank account. And for some of you, it could be getting together with somebody, moving in with somebody, buying new possessions, changing your vehicle, changing your living situation, changing who you live with, or maybe for some of you, starting a business out of your home. It could be a lot of things. Of course, we're all dealing with something else, but this can also have you talking to family members you haven't talked to in a while. So this whole time when we have Mercury and Venus retrograde, we could be dealing with issues from our past that need to be resolved. And when Mercury finally ends up in Pisces, you guys can be attracting either new people, attracting new business partners, new clients if you have a business, or you're just completely shifting around your relationships. For a lot of you, there's a complete shift in your romantic relationships, or meeting somebody new, meeting somebody from the past. And March 28th is another important day because Saturn will be at 24 degrees of Pisces. And this is exactly opposing the lunar eclipse in Virgo in your 7th house. So there could be some restrictions in forming new relationships or responsibilities or things that come up for review when it comes to relationships of all kinds. And then April 9th through April 17th, Venus will be opposing the degree of the March 13th eclipse, which can bring things up again. Venus is so important in the next few months. Your whole life is shifting, and a lot of you may find yourself in new relationship or leaving outdated relationships that no longer provide any security, any comfort. So a lot of people may come into your life. A lot of people may leave your life as well, but you are starting on a whole new journey, Pisces. Over the course of the next 2 years, a lot of you will find yourself completely changing, and this can represent changing on the outside as well, completely changing your style even. I hope you found this helpful. Like and subscribe for more.